Hey, true believers, it's Andy from Nerds on the Run. It's been a minute. I'm coming to y'all today just with my reaction to what's going on in the MCU. As you all have heard by now, I'm sure Spider-Man and the rest of the heroes are parting ways, it seems, for now. Based on some of the varying reports going on out there, it seems that Disney and Sony have entered into the renegotiations because Spider-Man is done with the films that were promised back during the old Sony and Marvel profit sharing deal. And at this time, for those of you that didn't, I'm sure everybody knew about that. For the quick skinny on that, Sony was getting money for the Sony movies, Disney was getting money for the Disney movies. Everybody was kind of doing it, or everyone was kind of going Dutch. That's oversimplified to the max, but basically that's what was going on. And now Disney has apparently asked for 50% of Sony's profits from all Spider Man endeavors. And the most aggressive reports suggest that Sony didn't even counteroffer, pulled out immediately, said that, hey, you guys put all the pieces in place for us, and have since kind of, and we don't really need Kevin Feige. We don't need, sorry if I said that wrong. And we don't really need anybody to get these movies going because they're already off the ground. Now, if I were an exec over at Sony and I saw my most valuable movie to date, my first thought wouldn't be let's change the recipe. My first thought wouldn't be let's make sure that the batter is totally different because that's exactly how we got here. My first thought would be let's make sure that we keep this ship going, and if some changes come to pass, sure, I understand 50% is aggressive. Definitely counteroffer, definitely debate. But in no version should there be no discussions to be had. I don't understand. I think probably, if I'm being optimistic, what will happen is similar to how some of the stuff kind of stalled when they were getting the profit sharing deal in place. Maybe something will come through. Maybe they'll come to some kind of agreement that's either a percentage higher than Dutch, but lower than 50%. There's certainly a lot of gray in there. Um, Worst case scenario, I think, at this point, because I do believe Tom Holland is contractually obligated. I could be wrong about this, so somebody please leave a comment below. But I think Tom Holland's still contractually obligated to do a little bit more work for Sony. Um, so worst thing that happens is they try with their bastardized universe um, to use Tom Holland as the center point for that, and Venom and Carnage and all this stuff, and as a result, they sort of sour the end point of the many lovely threads that have been started by Marvel. And they'd certainly have an awkward time of just not being able to mention any of the Marvel stuff in their movies anymore. There's enough there again that they could just sort of barely allude to it and not get away with any kind of infringement. But the long and short of it is, there isn't any reason to go see Spider-Man movies that are not a part of the whole tapestry. If they were like that from the beginning and they were somehow good, I would be all for it. They weren't good in the past. And I am saying that with the benefit of hindsight. Of course, there are good things about the other Spidey films, but nothing nearly as good as what's been going on with the MCU. So I'm gonna try to stay optimistic for now. I know my tone certainly in this video hasn't been super optimistic, but I am gonna be as optimistic as possible that some kind of deal will be reached, some kind of agreement will be made, and if not, and if the Tom Holland legacy kind of sours and peters out at the end here, ooh, I actually was not an intentional pun. If it goes sour at the end here, then Marvel will be fine. That I'm sure they'll still continue on with their plans. Certainly without Spider-Man, that's definitely a blow. But I guarantee you won't see any lowered profit margins for Disney and for Marvel. I can't say the same thing for Sony, so we'll see. Hopefully, what happens next is a good thing for the fans. But if it isn't, then back to the old drawing board once again, I suppose. Let me know what y'all are thinking. Please like, comment, subscribe, and check us out. Nerds on the Run. I'm Andy Wan Kenobi One on Twitter. All that stuff's gonna be down below if I actually get around to finishing it this time. And I hope you all are having a good day. Bye bye.